Hello, welcome back, Steve's Retirement Corner. Pace yourself in retirement. That's something even I had to learn to do, was to pace myself in retirement. And I'm a natural born bum, Doc, so if I had trouble, there's a good chance you probably will too. But it's that day you walk out that gate for the last time, I mean, you just can't get over, you'll never forget that feeling, you know, at how freeing it is not to have your time dictated to you by somebody else. In retirement, I mean, you got no time crunch at all unless you put it on yourself. And but what a lot of people don't think about, because I didn't think about it, well, that don't mean a lot of people probably did. But hey, man, you stop physically working, but man, your mind keeps going. It's still running 100 miles an hour, but it's not going on about anything about work. Because, you know, man, that's just part of work life, man. You know, you got work on the brain. It seems like 24/7 sometimes, man. And you don't, you know, you free up all that space, man. And you come up, I mean, hey man, sitting, that's why sitting gets me in trouble. It's not the health reasons, it's because it gives me a minute to think and my mind goes all over the daggone place. And a lot of times I act on it, and that's what gets me in trouble. I have to check with the baby first. She's the adult in the relationship. Usually, usually she makes me think twice about it. But it's you know, and I felt like, man, hey man, I could do any daggone thing I wanted to, you know. I felt good. I felt like I was able to. Whether I could or not didn't really enter the equation, but, or whether I would or not, but that's just the way it feels, man. It did to me, you know. And if you listen to the retirement industry nowadays, man, that having some downtime or not having every minute of the day spoken for is, you know, it's a sin to them. And it just ain't right. That just ain't so. You know, I think downtime's good, man. Pacing yourself. There's no need, you know, I found myself, hey man, there ain't no need for me to do any daggone thing in a rush. I don't have to complete every daggone thing in 8 hours or less like I did at work. You know, it's that hustle culture we're in. You know, it's just the way the U.S. is, man. It's always been that way since I can remember, anyways. You know, it's a person that works is thought highly upon. You know, he's doing all right, man. He's hustling. You know, he's doing the right thing. But you see somebody laid up on the corner over there, and you're thinking, man, that guy ain't worth the spot. You know. That's what gave me trouble when I retired. You know, I was still feeling like that. But it gives you a chance to recharge your batteries. You know, it allows you time for doing other things. Kicking back does, you know. And you know, as far as that pacing yourself, man, and you know, that's a hard thing for a lot of people to learn. If you was a flunky like me, you know, I had very little trouble making the transition. But, you know, that's due to my nature and how I did things. We've always done things. But man, if you got a daggone job, it's important, man. You got some kind of letters in front of your name, or your, you know, some kind of title where you're used to having that go on you. It's a hard thing to cut back. It's a hard thing to understand that you can cut back. You know, that hey man, the grass ain't got to be painted or cut today, or the porch ain't got to be painted today, because you got the next 30 days of shutdown that you working or whatever. You know, it's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. You know, and that's why I can understand why people say, hey man, I can't just retire. I can't see myself retiring because, you know, I like to be busy. Well, the thing about being busy is, don't be busy just for being busy, you know. You're in retirement, you're able to be busy and doing stuff that you want to do. Something that means something to you. That's why I always say, hey man, I don't do anything. And I don't, but everything I do has a meaning to me or the family, you know what I mean? It's a time to, you know, to kick back a little bit, you know, take it, you know, think about things. You're able to live life on your terms for once in your whole life. You just ain't been able to do that before, and that freeing feeling allows, you know, it really made me want to just jump in both feet and just keep cranking, you know. And that's one reason I set up that daggone 2 off days during the middle of the week, because I didn't want that rush feeling. I didn't want that. I didn't want to get so busy I couldn't sit down and breathe. That's where I was at work. You know, because not only are you working at home, but you're working at daggone the house too. You still got work on the brain. You just don't have a chance to breathe. And I didn't want that. But it's I'm gonna turn this way so you can see my pretty face. But it's you know, it's you've got to learn it's okay not to have every minute of every day filled. That's just something people have to do. And the more important your job was, as far as to the company or whatever, you know, the more responsibilities you had, the harder that's going to be. I always thought that. You know, flunky like me, it's not that big a deal. I was just a cog in the wheel. I didn't have no say-so about anything. And it, you know, that's the way I wanted it. But you know, a lot of people strive for that title, strive for that position, the importance of it. You know, to me, it was just a job. I did it because I needed the money to eat, you know. And the you know, more professional sounding your job was, or if you was a small business owner, I mean, everything was for you to do. I mean, you was responsible for everything. People like that, man, probably gonna have a hard time making that transition. You know, a lot about retirement is just a learning process. You can read about it and see it all the time, but you got to figure out what works best for you. And but man, I'm telling you, it's just a slower, easier lifestyle in retirement for me. And that's all I was looking for. You know, cut grass one day, weed eat the next. You know, buy the paint today, start painting the porch tomorrow. That's the reason I come out here. Somebody had noticed this in the background of one of my videos here a while back. It was a daggone chin up and dip bars I put in. I just old scrap wood I had laying around. I did have to buy the poles though. But you know, it's kind of a perfect metaphor for my daggone retirement. You know, I got goals. I set goals. You know, I pace myself. This is what I was talking about. I think it was on that live. It took me over a month to put this up. All you got to do is sink 5 poles in the ground. I figured it took me about a week a pole. I was in no rush to get it done. Not being rushed and hurried like you are on the responsibilities of a job and family life. I mean, it's, you know, I've said it before, it's, you know, retirement is probably the best drug in the world for making you feel good. Because you just feel good, you know. But, you know, you go outside the box a little bit. You're thinking a little bit different. You know, you're keeping busy. I mean, this is a perfect metaphor. I ain't painted it yet. But I got a box full of daggone partially used spray paint in there. I'm gonna come by here. I'm gonna make it look like what the Partridge Family bus, about 50 different colors. I ain't got enough to do the job, but I got enough to, you know, get it done with all of them. I ain't got enough in one can to get it done. So I'll have the only one. Multicolored pull-up bars. Yeah. But anyways, man, it's gonna be warm today. I'm gonna cut grass and then I'll, while it's cool, then we'll get in the house. But hey, man, pace yourself, man. Everything ain't got to be done today. It ain't got to be done tomorrow. It ain't gonna get done until you do it. So, you know, I don't know. But dog, if I rush through anything now, it takes me a day just to think about things before I even get started. But it's a peaceful life, man. I say it's comfortable, you know. It's just, you know, that's why I say when you retire, you're actually building a new life for yourself. That's what you're doing. You know, I'm doing the same thing I always did. It's just I get to do it at my rhythm, my pace. You know, I ain't pushed to do a darn thing. And I like that. I don't like being forced on all that junk. But anyways, that's me. But you know, you got to figure out what works best for you. There's so many different ways to do retirement, man. You know, and some people like that go all the time. My little ladies are like that, man. I hope I'm half as as a go-getter as they are at their age as they are. I just don't know. They work me to death. And they don't do nothing but come over and sit down and talk to them, have a cup of coffee. Wears me out. It's like when I went up to Pennsylvania last weekend. I told Buzz took me 2 days to recover from 1 day's driving. That traveling's for the birds, Doc. You can have that mess. But it's just nice. I mean, it just is. You know. Anyways, man, y'all take care of yourselves, man. I'm gonna get started on doing some stuff and before this heat comes in. It's supposed to rain this evening. I don't know whether it will or not, but we'll see. It usually does when the heat builds up. You can hear them cicadas. I don't know if you can hear them already. Yeah. But we'll talk to y'all later, man. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. Stay out the heat. Drink plenty of fluids, and we'll talk to y'all later.